Ladies, gentlemen, during the F1 Commission meeting in London, I presented part of my plan for a new step forward in Formula One refereeing.
When the FIA announced the change in regulations for the 2022 season last year, many people were very excited about it. With not only introducing a budget cap, but also drastically changing the car's design, the goal was to have a much more exciting race because cars could follow the cars in front much more closely without losing downforce. Some teams like Red Bull and Ferrari adapted really well to the changes, and others like Mercedes didn't. Anyway, because of the new car design, some cars bounced heavily when bottoming out, a phenomenon called porpoising. This caused the FIA to step in mid-season with some rule changes to protect driver safety. Some people, like team boss Christian Horner, were strongly against changing the rules. Why is Horner so against these changes? And what teams get affected the most by this? Do you want to know more about it? Stay tuned in this video. So without wasting any longer, hit that subscribe button and turn the notifications on because this isn't our first video and it is not going to be the last. That being said, let's dive straight into the video. Let's begin with a quick explanation of what porpoising is.
I proposed an in-depth reform of the organization of refereeing and race direction. It was unanimously supported by the F1 CEO and team's principals.
Porpoising, to put it easily, is an aerodynamic phenomenon that F1 cars have started to experience since the so-called ground effect philosophy was adopted. With this philosophy, air is drawn underneath a car to pull it down onto the track at a high speed, rather than over the top of the car to push it down. The problem is that a car wants to be sucked to the floor because then they are going faster. And if it comes too close, the airflow may cease or stall, causing the downforce to decrease suddenly. And from that point, the car suddenly jumps up. But once the floor of the car is free of the ground, the airflow resumes and the car is once more drawn downward. This very aggressive bouncing is called porpoising. Let's be honest, driving around 350 kilometers an hour bouncing up and down isn't the most fun thing to do, right? Because of this, the FIA opted to make a change in the regulation. Following conversations with the drivers and teams, FIA President Mohammed Ben Sulayem has stated that new technical regulations to solve porpoising in 2023 have been submitted to the World Motorsport Council. New regulations will go into effect for the Belgian Grand Prix at the end of August, and F1 cars will now be able to be removed from the race if they bounce excessively. It is a temporary measure, and in 2023, new regulations will go into effect with the intention of permanently banning porpoising from Formula One. The FIA sought to increase the ride height of the cars by 25 millimeters under the premise of safety. Given that it would be a significant change, several in the sport weren't in favor of it. Most of them have managed to fix the problem themselves and therefore feel that further intervention by the FIA is inappropriate. It is reported that 6 teams are ready to challenge the changes: Red Bull Racing, Ferrari, AlphaTauri, Alfa Romeo, Haas, and Williams. Williams has strong ties with Mercedes as well, which is interesting. The opponents of the measures doubt to what extent it is actually a safety issue as the FIA claims. What do you guys think? Is it a significant change? Let's pause for a second to learn something cool about the 2022 cars.
It will be still possible to ask questions to the race director according to a well-defined and non-intrusive process. Thirdly, unlapping procedures behind safety car will be reassessed by the F1 Sporting Advisory Committee and presented to the next F1 Commission prior to the start of the season.
Did you know that 2022 is the first year Formula One cars drive with 18-inch tires? The purpose of the new Pirelli compounds and constructions for these 18-inch tires is to lessen how much the tires overheat when they slide, which is a key factor that should encourage closer racing. Additionally, the sidewall deflection changes and resulting aerodynamic wake effect are lessened with the lower profile tires. The teams devote a lot of time and energy to modeling the airflow regimes around the tire geometries and their interactions with the car bodywork. The automotive design process and the amount of resource needed will both gain from reducing the sensitivity in this area, which is crucial in the cost cap age. Back to the video. So let's find out what team is struggling the most with the porpoising. Do you already know the answer to this one? So far, Mercedes seems to be the team facing the most difficulties. On most tracks, they bounce the most violently throughout the straights, which hurt both the performance and stability of the W13. The most vocal about the issues has been Lewis Hamilton, who claims that his back and headaches are making it extremely difficult for him to operate the cockpit. Christian Horner, the team owner of Red Bull, claims that the FIA is using the issue of safety to push through modifications to the Formula One floor rules for 2023 and says it's a very easy card to stand behind. Horner questions if the bottoming out and porpoising issues these adjustments are meant to solve are a safety issue that must be resolved by technical regulation changes. This is due to the fact that they are unique to certain cars, making it the responsibility of the teams involved to fix them. Horner claims he is open to certain changes, but he called the proposed solutions extremely harsh and out of scale to the issue. Safety is a very easy card to stand behind because theoretically it's not then subject to an F1 Commission or FIA World Motorsport Council vote. Horner responded when asked about the issue. Something can be done, but I think that it just needs to be sensible. The numbers that have been discussed are just way too extreme compared to the reality of what probably could be done. In contrast to Mercedes and to a lesser extent Ferrari, Red Bull has not had significant porpoising and bouncing issues. However, Horner is skeptical of regulations being used to resolve problems that individual teams may have by sacrificing performance. I'd actually dispute it is a safety issue, Horner said. It's down to the team how it chooses to operate its car. You can remove the porpoising very easily, but that's at the sacrifice of performance. It's not the duty of the FIA to ensure that a team is competitive. Otherwise, we'd have had engine BOPs over the past 10 years. Toto Wolff, the team principal for Mercedes, has been a huge proponent for increasing the vehicle's floors, citing health issues related to bouncing. The FIA has commissioned medical work on the porpoising, Wolff told the media in response to a question.
And finally, I would like to inform you that a new race management team will be put in place starting in Barcelona for the test session.
The doctor's summary is that a frequency of 1 to 2 Hz, sustained over a few minutes, can lead to brain damage. We have 6 to 7 Hz over several hours, so the answer is very easy. The FIA needs to do something about it. As you can see, the two team principals have a different opinion. Many say this is because Red Bull is performing really well this season opposed to Mercedes, who have been struggling for the first time in many years. This is actually one of the first seasons in the hybrid era that Mercedes hasn't been dominant. With George Russell in 4th place in the overall standings and former world champion Lewis Hamilton even in 6th place, you can connect the dots why Mercedes and Toto Wolff are complaining about this. Who do you guys think is right, Horner or Wolff? Let us know in the comments below. That's it, guys, but before we end the video, we are going to share one final fun fact with you guys. The front wing shape on the 2022 F1 car is entirely different, despite the fact that front wings have been progressively simpler in recent seasons. To keep with the 2022 car design's philosophy, the new front wing's functions include producing constant downforce when following another vehicle closely and ensuring that the front wheel wake is carefully managed and directed down the car in the least disruptive manner. That being said, we hope that you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. With that, the video comes to an end. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.